Have you ever wondered how to create a bootable Windows 11 pen drive and install it on your computer? Well, you're in the right place. Today, we're diving into the step-by-step process of making your own bootable USB drive for Windows 11 and using it to install the latest operating system from Microsoft. This process is easier than you might think, and doing it yourself can save you a lot of time and hassle. All you need to get started is a USB drive with at least 8 GB of storage and a Windows 11 ISO file. You can get the latter from the official Microsoft website or from other legitimate sources. Once you have these prerequisites, you're ready to roll. Stick with us, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to create a bootable Windows 11 USB drive and install it on your computer. The first step is to download the Windows 11 ISO file. The ISO file is essentially a digital copy of the Windows 11 installation disk, which we'll use to create our bootable USB drive. To obtain this file, you'll want to head over to the official Microsoft website. Once you're there, find the Windows 11 download page. You'll likely see a button or link labeled Download ISO or Get Windows 11 ISO. Click that and the download should commence. Depending on your internet speed, this can take a few minutes to a couple of hours, so be patient. If, for some reason, you're unable to download the ISO file from the Microsoft website, there are other legitimate sources available. Just ensure you're downloading from a trusted source to avoid any unwanted surprises. With the ISO file downloaded, we're ready to prepare the USB drive. Next, insert your USB drive into your computer. We're getting ready to transform this little device into your ticket to Windows 11. Just a quick pause here to remind you that this process will completely erase all existing data on your USB drive. So, if you have any important files, photos, or secret recipes saved on it, make sure to back them up elsewhere. You don't want to lose Grandma's secret cookie recipe in the process. Now that we've got the warnings out of the way, let's get down to business. Your USB drive needs to have at least 8 GB of storage. If you're unsure about the storage capacity of your drive, you can easily check this by right-clicking on the drive in your computer's File Explorer and selecting Properties. If you're all clear, then we're good to go. With the USB drive ready, it's time to create the bootable USB. Now let's turn that regular USB drive into a bootable Windows 11 installer. Creating a bootable USB drive can be done using either the built-in Windows tool, known as the Media Creation tool, or a third-party software like Rufus. We'll guide you through both methods. Let's start with the Media Creation tool. After downloading the tool from the Microsoft website, run it. You'll be greeted with a series of instructions. Here, you'll want to select Create Installation Media for another PC. When asked to choose the destination, select USB flash drive. Follow the remaining prompts, and the tool will get to work on creating your bootable USB. Now, if you're using Rufus, the process is just as straightforward. After downloading and running Rufus, you'll see a range of options. Look for the Device field and select your USB drive. Next, click on Select and navigate to where your Windows 11 ISO file is stored. Choose it and leave the rest of the settings as they are. When you click Start, Rufus will begin creating your bootable USB. No matter which method you choose, the process can take a bit of time, so don't be alarmed if it seems to be running longer than expected. The tools are working hard to transform your regular USB drive into a bootable Windows 11 installer. Once the process is finished, you'll have a USB drive that can be used to install Windows 11 on any compatible computer. But remember, this drive will only work for installation purposes and won't store data like a regular USB drive. With the bootable USB drive created, we're ready to install Windows 11, so stay tuned as we're about to dive into the installation process in the next scene. You're one step closer to experiencing the sleek interface and new features of Windows 11. Remember, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, or in this case, a single click. Now that we have our bootable USB drive, we're ready to install Windows 11. Our first step is to insert our newly created bootable USB drive into the computer where we plan to install Windows 11. Once it's securely in place, we'll need to restart the computer. As it starts up, we'll need to access the BIOS or UEFI settings. This is often done by pressing a specific key during startup, which varies from computer to computer, but is typically F2, F12, ESC, or the delete key. Inside the BIOS or UEFI settings, we'll look for the boot order options. Here we'll change the settings to prioritize booting from the USB drive. Once we've made this change, we'll save and exit. This will cause the computer to restart again, But this time, instead of booting up as usual, it should boot from our USB drive. As the computer boots from the USB drive, we'll be greeted by the Windows 11 setup process. First, we'll be prompted to choose our language, time and currency format, and keyboard or input method. Once we've made our selections, we'll click Next. On the following screen, we'll click the Install Now button. If prompted, we'll enter our Windows 11 product key. If we don't have a key at the moment, we can choose the option to enter it later, but it's important to note that we'll need a valid product key to fully activate Windows 11 after the installation. Next, we'll be asked to select the type of installation we want. For a clean install, we'll choose Custom, Install Windows Only, Advanced. This will bring us to a screen where we can select the drive or partition where we want to install Windows 11. If we're unsure, it's generally safe to choose the largest partition or the one labeled Drive 0. The installation process will now begin. This might take some time and our computer may restart a few times. It's important not to interrupt this process. Once the installation is complete, we'll be guided through a few more steps to set up Windows 11. This will include creating a user account, setting a password, and choosing our privacy settings. With Windows 11 installed, there are just a few more steps to get everything set up. After installation, we'll want to make sure to install any necessary drivers for our hardware. This can usually be done by visiting the website of our computer or hardware manufacturer. We'll also want to check for updates to ensure that our new Windows 11 installation is up to date. With those final steps, we're ready to take full advantage of everything Windows 11 has to offer. From the redesigned Start menu to the new ways to multitask, there's plenty to explore in this latest version of Windows. So, let's dive in and enjoy the new world of Windows 11. With Windows 11 installed, it's time to get everything set up. Now that you've successfully installed your new operating system, the first step is to create a user account. This is pretty straightforward. You'll be prompted to enter a name for your account and create a password. Make sure to choose a strong password for your account to keep it secure. After setting up your user account, you'll be asked to choose your privacy settings. Windows 11 offers a range of options, allowing you to decide how much information you want to share with Microsoft. Take some time to review these settings and choose the ones that best meet your privacy needs. Now that your account is set up and your privacy settings are in place, you need to install any necessary drivers for your hardware. Drivers are essential pieces of software that allow your operating system to communicate with your hardware devices, like your graphics card or printer. You can usually find these on the manufacturer's website. Download and install the drivers to ensure your hardware works correctly with Windows 11. Once your drivers are installed, it's time to make sure your new operating system is up to date. Windows 11 will typically handle this automatically, but it's always a good idea to manually check for updates. To do this, go to the Settings app, click on Windows Update, and then click Check for Updates. If there are any available updates, they will be downloaded and installed automatically. And finally, don't forget to explore the new features and changes that come with Windows 11. There's a lot to discover, from the new Start menu and taskbar to the redesigned Microsoft Store and the ability to run Android apps. And that's it. You've successfully created a bootable Windows 11 USB drive and installed Windows 11 on your computer. Enjoy exploring your new operating system.